The first thing you'll want to do is open Benchmark Universe in your myaps.edu account. This logs you in. Then you'll want to come back to Google Classroom and click on the specific benchmark readings that I've assigned to you there. After you've finished your readings, you'll want to click on the other link of the day to answer the questions that I have prepared for you. Hi, this is Dr. Adam, and as usual, I'm here with
Salahuddin Adam.
And today we're going to talk about the second installment in our series on money with two books, one which is called
Spend It or Save It,
and a longer, more complicated book simply called
Money.
Let's talk about Spend It or Save It. It's a nice book because it's straightforward and simple, but it has some really good concepts. And I ask you to talk about a couple things in it, both in the questions that are on the form at the bottom of today's assignment, and also in the paragraph that I have you guys write about it. So I want to talk about a couple things first. Where are some of the places you can keep money if you're saving it?
You can keep it in your wallet. You can also keep it in a piggy bank.
And a bank is where most people are expected to put their money now. In fact, a lot of people don't get paid by their bosses with just money or even with checks anymore. The money is sent straight to their bank, and they have to take out their money from their bank after payday. So getting paid by receiving money in your bank is the norm, and everyone's kind of expected to have a bank account when they get older.
And in old times, people used to hide it underground and in chests.
All right. But if you're a kid, you don't need a bank. You just need a piggy bank or a wallet, and that is fine. So there are a few things we talked about with banks that are interesting, and one of them is that if you keep money in the bank, a lot of money.
Put interest in it, and
wait. You don't put it. You put the money in. They give you interest. Let's say I have two 50s here. I put them in the bank for a year. When I take out those two 50s,
you get double the amount.
Not double. You get a little bit more. So 50 plus 50 equals?
100.
Okay, let's say I put it in and I just leave it there and I come back in a year. Maybe it won't be 50 plus 50, which is 100 anymore. Maybe it'll be, I could just change that to a $100 bill. Why did I do that? Maybe it won't just be 100 anymore. It'll be 102. Now that might not seem like a big deal, even if it's 105. Might not seem like the biggest deal in the world, but that's how interest works. Interest means that the longer you keep your money in the bank, the more your money grows. It's kind of like putting your money in a planter's pot in a garden and giving it Miracle-Gro. So just one thing to keep in mind, the way banks work is interesting, and credit cards are the opposite. When you spend with a credit card,
you are basically promising to give the bank more money later.
So I spend $100 on my credit card. Now when I get 100 real dollars, I got to pay that back to the bank, but they don't just want 100. They might want $102 or $105 back instead of the 100 that I spent. So it's interest, but it's the other kind of interest.
Yeah, it's like interest, but reverse.
It's interest taken from you, not interest given to you. So the way banks work is really interesting, and it's important, and it's really the most important place for people to keep their money when they're grown-ups. But as kids, that's different. You can keep it in your wallet, you can keep it in a piggy bank, whatever. And we actually want to talk about something kids do with money, and that's called getting an allowance. Because the book, Spend It or Save It, the second option besides spending something is
saving it.
Saving it. Let's say you get $5 a week in your allowance. And let's say you've already saved a lot of $5 bills. And it takes 4 of these to make it 20, so you got a 20 at one point, 50, and now you got $70. But there's a toy you want to get that's $85. Well, if you get $5 a week in your allowance, how many weeks do you have to wait for this $70 to become $85?
Well, if you add the 5s up together that you get in each week, you would have to wait 3 more weeks.
3 more weeks.
Which is almost a month.
Which is, yeah, it's close to a month. A month is a little bit more than 4 weeks usually, or in February, just about 4 weeks. But anyway.
February, exactly.
Exactly. Well, not when it's 29 days. Then it's 4 weeks in a day. But anyway, there you have it. Just waiting and saving money could allow you to spend more later. So when you spend, you might say, well, there's that cheaper toy that I could get today, but there's that toy that I really, really want. If I just wait 3 more weeks for this allowance to pile up, then I'll be able to get what I really want. So saving is important for grown-ups and for kids because it's a decision you make, and the decision you make can make you a lot happier if you decide to do something that is well thought out. Now, what if this $5 a week isn't fast enough? Let's say, hey, I want to get this $85 toy, but it's only going to cost $85 for 1 more week. And after that, the price is going to shoot up to like $150. So I got to hurry up and get this $15 fast. But I only get $5 a week for allowance. Is that just a tough break and I don't have any other options in life? Or are there other things I can do?
There is another option. It's called
work. You can work. And if you already get $5 allowance a week because you do a good job with your studying and a good job with your chores, what's one thing you could do to make that, to increase that?
You could do more work than usual to double the amount.
All right. So let's say you're going to say, hey, I'm not just going to do my chores. I'm going to do extra chores. I'm going to do yard work in addition to housework, or I'm going to do double my math, or I'm going to do double my reading for the week, or whatever. And then your parents will say, oh, that's great. Now, what if your parents say, okay, that's fine. I'll give you double, but that's still not enough. You still need another $5. What if your neighbor or anyone on your block has a really, really messy yard? Maybe they need their lawn mowed, or they need their bushes trimmed, or they just need someone to sweep or rake. What can you do?
Well, you can you could do the one that will earn you $5. You could do you could also do the ones that give you more than $5, but first of all, you have to do more work, and second of all, what are you going to spend that extra money on?
Okay, well, maybe tax, because when you buy something that's $85, it might be $85 and then some cents added on. But let's just talk about the basics. You can go, you can have your parents talk to that neighbor, and they could say, hey, Dino's going to rake your yard for you if you pay him $5 or $6 or whatever. And if they agree, then you got a job and you got some extra money you've earned, or however you decide to work it out. Maybe the person down your street is your own family. Maybe it's your cousin or your uncle that lives down the street.
And they're so nice that if you rake the yard very nicely, or like trim the grass very nicely, they'll give you $5 in like 1 day.
Right. So there are different ways you can get money. If you're already getting money from an allowance or some sort of job salary, you can just wait and save. But you could also work extra hard, harder than you usually do, to try to increase your money, add extra jobs onto the jobs you already have. And that's one of the things that we think about when we talk about spending and saving. Now,
All right.
there is this stuff we keep talking about, this money stuff, and let's talk a little bit about why we use this stuff. What is with these coins? Where did these come from, and when did people start using them?
Well, coins were first invented in the kingdom of Lydia. It's not like specifically the coins we use in America. There are different types of coins in different regions.
That's right. So Lydia had coins with pictures of lions on them, if I remember.
Exactly.
And we don't have pictures of lions. We have pictures of George Washington and other presidents and Abraham Lincoln's on the penny. So, yeah.
And the euro has no faces on it.
There are different euros that have different types of pictures, and I can't remember them now, but I think you're right. I don't think they focus too much on faces for all the euros in all the countries, but I might have seen a couple faces on some euros. Not sure. Well, I guess you're right. Most euros don't have faces on them. Ah,
They use pounds.
wait a minute. Here's a euro coin with the face on it.
Oh, yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean you're wrong. It just means it's very rare to have faces on euros, but sometimes you do see some faces.
Is it like made in the special mints?
No, I think it's more typical on the coins than on the paper bills. I think it's the because you're right, and I'm looking at all these euro paper bills here, and they all seem to have architecture on them, some sort of building. But then if I look at the coins, I'm seeing some people on them, which is a little different. So I think it's the difference between the coins and the paper bills in the euros. Okay, so let's talk about something which is very interesting here, which is this other type of money, in addition to coins, which were invented a few thousand years ago in the kingdom of Lydia. We have paper bills, and these were not invented in the kingdom of Lydia. These were invented.
First bills were invented in China.
Because
these bills, these fake bills and real bills
are made out of
paper.
Paper was invented in
China.
China.
And how paper was invented is Chinese people saw how paper wasps specifically, made their paper.
Turn wood into paper, and that process was replicated by human beings in the manufacturing of paper, and that reached.
They used, as a matter of fact, the paper wasps didn't gnaw on wood for all their life. It's probably only for the nest.
Yeah, there are very specific tasks that the paper wasps would turn the wood into paper for, and that was primarily nest building. That's right. So that was introduced from China. It didn't come to the Western world like Europe until much later. Sweden was the first European country to use paper bills, and now we use them in America, and they're quite normal. In fact, we think of money often as this, even though this is what it originates from in our monetary tradition. So, oh yeah. But, we talk about history, and we talk about people inventing these and inventing these. What did people do before they had all this? Did they just not buy anything?
You hit the jackpot question. So, what they did was they actually traded in those old times.
And there's a word for that kind of trading. It was called bartering.
Bartering. Some people would trade. Like if they made shoes, they would trade a pair of boots for a cloth they really needed
to make a shirt or pants with. So different people made different things. Some people grew a plant like wheat. Well, he could bake that into bread, and then he takes the bread to the market and trades it for meat. There might be someone who has a bunch of animals.
Like a butcher?
That's right. And he has meat that he prepares, but he doesn't have any bread to enjoy with that meat. So he trades a little bit of his meat for bread, and the guy who's got a bunch of bread doesn't have any meat to enjoy with it, so he trades some of his bread for some meat, and now both people have bread and meat. And that's the way bartering worked in the old world. People would trade whatever it is that they made for something that someone else made.
Now the butcher can have meat sandwiches.
That's right, and the bread maker, the guy who grows in the wheat and turns it into bread, can also have meat on his sandwich instead of just having plain bread, which is a much better option. All right. There's something else, which is, there's another interesting detail about the United States and its creation of money. When coins are made, it is called making them in a mint.
Mint. Oh, mints. Exactly.
So
Mints are the places where coins are made. There are a total of 4 mints in the United States.
there's one in the state of.
There's one in the state of New York,
Mhm.
another one in Colorado, another one in Pennsylvania.
Another one in California.
Mhm.
And one of those is the biggest one. Which is that?
The one in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Fun fact, it's not the biggest in America. It's not even the biggest in the continent. It's the biggest mint in the entire world.
That's right. So there is that big mint. Is that the only one that makes our regular money, though? I think there are 2 of them that make our regular money.
Yeah, it's one in Pennsylvania and one in Colorado.
Okay. And the other 2, the one in New York and the one in California,
They make the
special coins. And special coins, yeah, there are many different ways to define what special means, but not the coins we use every day, definitely. You know, when I was little, there was the 200th anniversary of the United States. The United States was considered to be founded in 1776, and 100 years after that it was 1876, and 200 years after that it was 1976 when I was 3 years old. And around the time I was 3 years old, special coins were made called bicentennial coins. And bi, 2, like bicycle, and centennial, like the Spanish word cien, meaning 100. So bicentennial means 200 years. And there were special coins that were minted that year that all had that special message on them. Happy 200th birthday, United States. Bicentennial coins.
Wow.
Yeah.
So were those coins common back in the day?
Yes, when I was little, those coins were being passed around for quite a while. And I remember all the way up until 10 years after that, in the 1980s, seeing those coins a lot. The bicentennial coins, I don't see them too often anymore. So I think a lot of them have become collector's coins. I think some people have held on to them because they're worth more money now. A lot of times, older coins, if you keep a special coin from a long time ago with a special year on it, and you hold on to it, it's worth more. And I think there's something in the book Money that talks about coin collection, where they say how to take care of coins, don't they?
Yeah. It's like first you polish the coin with like cotton balls. Then
Yeah, you don't want to scratch up the coin. That's a collector's coin, right?
Yeah. I found a buried coin, but it was scratched up. So.
Okay. So if you don't want to scratch it up, yeah, use cotton. And then what else should you do? Where should you store it?
You store it in paper, not plastic.
Not plastic. That's because sometimes you think, oh, plastic is going to protect it a lot more because it's airtight, like a baggie. But they say no. Store collector's coins in paper, not in plastic, and it will preserve them better. So there's something we learned today, isn't there?
Exactly.
All right. Well, we enjoyed talking about money, and we hope that you
like and subscribe. I hope you have a nice day.